Welcome back to the Real with Joseph Lappin. I am Joseph Lappin. Hope you guys are having a great week. Welcome into the Real. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share. I'd really appreciate that. Shout out to all the new subscribers. Appreciate all you guys who joined the post game last week and subscribed. It was a great time getting to know all you guys and interacting with you guys. And so, looking forward to doing that all season. Hopefully, what we talk about with the Browns this year gets a little better and more exciting. That obviously hasn't been a lot of fun at all. They're 1-3 and things have been really abysmal offensively. They're probably the worst offense I've seen in a long time. But things have changed now. In case you didn't hear today, the Browns have officially named Dillon Gabriel the starting quarterback now moving forward. So the Joe Flacco era is officially over in Cleveland. Now it's time for Dillon Gabriel, and yeah, I'm not surprised by this. Mike and I said all off season, leading up to the season, and the months leading up that probably by week 5, 6, 7, unless they were 500 or better, that this would be the move. So they have to evaluate these guys this year in terms of Dillon Gabriel and Shador Sanders because they have 2 first-round picks in this upcoming draft with a lot of quarterbacks that could be available, which looks to be a quarterback draft. I know a lot of guys right now maybe haven't panned out yet, but it's still a long way to go. I wouldn't make labels and judgments on people or teams in October. That's pretty foolish. I would wait. Those football, you want to wait all the way through and see how it's not how you start, it's how you finish. So it will be a good quarterback draft if I bet my money. There's gonna be some guys that I think teams want to get their hands on and develop into possibly franchise quarterbacks. So the Browns have to know what they have in Dillon and Shador, and Joe Flacco will still be the backup. So Shador is still third string. And so for now, that's how it's going to be. And Dillon Gabriel, the most starts ever in college football history, 24 years old, a lot of experience, 3 different colleges, many different systems, coordinators. I think he can, from an experience standpoint, he's definitely ready for this moment. I still think there's some things I'm going to show today in the film breakdown. You can see it says they're changing strategy. I think there's some things in strategy changes that I've already been seeing with Joe Flacco. When Joe Flacco was playing quarterback, that from a play calling perspective, still some things I think need to be changed. But overall, just operationally, execution wise, fundamentally, like there's still a lot of things offensively they need to change. Now they did make some moves this week as well, bringing the tackle help with Cam Robinson. They traded for him for a 6th-round pick. You remember the former 1st-round pick? I think to Jacksonville, I believe, and then went to the Texans. We brought him in from Houston. So we brought him in. We brought Thayer Mumford in, the hometown guy from Massillon, went to the Ohio State University. Had a really good career there, and so was solid. And so you brought in Thayer Mumford, you brought in Cam Robinson, you still got Tevin Jenkins. They also brought another guard from the practice squad to be from the Texans. So they brought in some depth in the O-line this week that was well needed, some changes. And I definitely think we'll see those tackle spots solidified this week in terms of, let's get Cam Robinson out there. Let's get Thayer Mumford or Tevin Jenkins out there. Cornelius Lucas and KT Livingston. KT Livingston's younger and is more of a project, not a starter yet, in my opinion. And Cornelius Lucas, I believe, is 36 years old. He just looks like a 36-year-old at times. So there's still some things, though. Again, if you want to support Dillon Gabriel, there's still some things I think they need to address and change to help support him and make things easier for the rookie. Even if it's a 40-year-old quarterback we saw Flacco or a rookie, both those, either one needs support. So, and I don't think the support's been there so far this season a lot for Flacco in terms of just guys dropping passes, missed blocks, missed assignments, bad play calls, certain sequences that weren't great. And I think Joe just looks old. He's 40 years old, had a great career. This is a guy who, great career, Super Bowl champion, one of the biggest arms we've ever seen. Guy used to throw piss missiles 70 yards back when he came in the league, but he's old now. He looks like a 40-year-old. So, and that's okay. I think him being there still will be valuable for these guys with experience and just his, great he's just I think he's a guy to have a great relationship with these guys. He's a really good dude. It seems like just really cool, laid back, down to earth, and I'm sure we'll spend out any knowledge he has. And so Dillon Gabriel, though, I think will be an adjustment for this offense already because he's left-handed and he's shorter. Which the height thing, okay, that doesn't really affect me as much, especially nowadays. But he's athletic as well. But the left-handed thing actually will be an adjustment. He also has a big windup. You remember that pick 6 play against the Philadelphia Eagles in the preseason that went viral. Everybody talked about where he made a bad decision. But a lot of that play, when I broke it down too, his back was to the DBs and the linebackers. and he couldn't see. When he has a big windup like this, they could see where that ball's going. And I know guys even at the high school level that I've you know and work with that's something we point out in the scouting report there too is you see that big windup, you know where that ball is going. So I think that's an adjustment and something I'll be watching with Dillon Gabriel this week and how his game translates to the NFL game, obviously, and how are these defenses going to approach him as the weeks go on, from week to week. But I think Dillon does a lot of things well. He gets the ball out quick and on time. He keeps the chains moving, takes his layups, which I really love. Um, and he put a lot, he put together really good sustained drives that led to scoring a lot of times in the preseason. I think there's still some areas where he's got to grow, but he's very accurate. His arm strength's a little better than people give him credit for, I think. And I think, though, it's going to be an adjustment. Again, I've heard from NFL receivers before who play with left-handed quarterbacks. It is an adjustment, the way the ball comes out, the trajectory, and a lot of things they do with certain packages, they're going to have to flip. So a lot of things they would do with Flacco going right because it's more comfortable for him because he's right-handed. They're going to now flip it and go through the left side because Gabriel's left-handed. So you're going to see a lot of different changes probably in this offense just from that standpoint, foundationally, in some of their formations and maybe even personnel and some personnel groupings and things like that. So, but he gives you a different ability. He can run as well. So I would see a lot more of that. And the Browns have been pretty gun heavy this year. I think he fits that more than Flacco because he played more in a gun system recently, and he's younger and quicker, obviously. So I got some film cut-ups, though, from the game last week against the Lions of areas where I still think the Browns need to improve offensively and where I think Dillon could help and where I think Kevin Stefanski and his teammates can help him as well. So let's get into it. And so here we go. We got the first clip here. This is going to be 1st and 10 for the Browns. They're going to be on their 23-yard line. And one area where I think Dillon Gabriel can really help already is from the preseason, he got the ball out to the right spot a lot of times, especially on the out routes. Or any throw outside of the numbers or even between the numbers and the hash marks. He did a really good job of throwing the ball out on time and on target. And so you can see right here, this play, they're going to motion out Isaiah Bond to the outside, and you're going to have Harold Fannin lined up out here. And I think so what you're going to see from Harold Fannin here, he's going to run basically a hitch route. And so you see a lot of these shorter route concepts in the Browns offense. Curls, hitch routes, slants, quicker routes, things like that. A lot more of these curl routes and these quick routes, these hitches and stuff like that, stick concepts. And so right here, though, Joe Flacco, we take a look. You see he drops back and he looks that direction, and Harold Fannin's open right there. That guy's open for 5 yards. You just dot him right there. He may even break up field. I think he's a guy who could really break tackles and get some yak. Which again is very important in this system. When you have a West Coast style system with a lot of these shorter concepts, it's all about it's a system of efficiency, which I think Dillon Gabriel can run pretty well because he was pretty efficient in college. But you have to get the ball out on time to your playmakers, and you have to have guys with good yak. Well, you have 2 tight ends here who I think can be really good with a lot of yak. With Njoku, we know he can. I think Harold Fannin could definitely become that. I think he's shown that already. And so you got to get the ball out on time and on target to him. But a lot of what we've seen this year is the ball doesn't get there, and we just dump it down for 2 yards instead of 5 or 6, maybe even 7 or more. And now it's 2nd and 8, and it just looks like a flat play. And again, it's things like that that needs to obviously never happen again because that ball needs to get out on time, especially on first down. If you're going to throw on first down, you better be getting some yards out of it because football is situational. 1st and 2nd down go together, right? That helps set you up for a 3rd down. 3rd down situation itself because you have to convert it. And then also, red zone situation itself. And so 1st and 2nd down play calling and execution is something the Browns need to vastly improve on offensively, probably more than anything. Outside of the quarterback change, that's the next best thing I think they need to do. Then we'll work on the tackles, and then we'll work on fundamentals. But the ball needs to get out right there to Harold Fannin, and I think that's something where I think Dillon will do a better job based on what I saw in the preseason. He was very good at that, and so that's my first cut up there, and let's get to the next one. And so again, because we couldn't, get more than 2 yards on the first down, we couldn't execute it properly. Now we're in 2nd and 8, you can see here. And this is something the Browns, from a strategy standpoint, I think philosophy, but just also execution offensively, they're constantly behind schedule all year long so far. For the first 4 games, it's constantly 1st and 10, they get nothing. 2nd and 10, they get 2 yards, and it's always 3rd and long, 3rd and long, 3rd and long, all constantly behind schedule. And so now, because we couldn't, execute the play on the first down, really should be 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 4, probably 2nd and 4, honestly, what they could have got out of that play. Now we're in 2nd and 8. And so now we're going to run the ball here. And we watch this running play here. And you can see guys just miss blocks. Again, miscues. This is another big thing with the Browns so far offensively. Tons of miscues. Guys missed assignments, bad communication, bad fundamentals. Let's start over here with Cedric Tillman on the right side. You can see number 19, next to Harold Fannin. And the perimeter blocking to me, going all the way back to the Carolina game in the preseason, I've been yelling about it all offseason, or not all preseason until now, because your perimeter blocking, we expect these guys obviously to go out, get open on routes, catch passes, and get yards after the catch. But blocking's a big component too for perimeter guys, receivers and tight ends, and running backs. You have to be able to block. And so you can see right here, Cedric Tillman against Deion Branch, just completely loses leverage and gets beat inside. And then also on the other side of this, you can see they're trying to do a basic just zone run here with Quinshon Judkins. You try to see if he can bounce outside. Terrion Arnold's coming down here, but also this guy right here, the linebacker, number 55, Wyatt Teller, in my opinion, should be getting a hand on this guy. We should be getting a hat on this guy. We don't need 2 guys here. We want to double and go off, right? I get this is DJ Reader is very good in the run, but you're 101 here with Ethan Pochich, right? You're good there. Just right. I think Pochich actually got pretty good leverage right here, good block. Wyatt right about here, right here. He should already be right there stepping to get a hat on this guy to cut that off. And you never know, you may have a cut lane here right between him and the tackle. And then also Cedric Tillman on this side needs to do a much better job of creating better leverage. I like to see Harold Fannin as well get some better leverage there. I get you're going against Aiden Hutchinson. I'd like to see him get a little lower. But he does a good job recovering right there. You saw he shifts his body, gets his hands back inside, and gets good leverage. But again, the linebacker and Cedric Tillman, in my opinion, need to do a better job of blocking there. And then also, too, I have a problem with just the play design. They're showing blitz right here across the board. They're sending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. Damn near the whole defense is coming down here. We're just in a basic man-up zone run. I like to see us be a little more creative with this running scheme. Let's learn some more gap scheme. Let's start pulling guards. Let's start pulling tight ends on wham blocks. Let's open up. Gap scheme is opening up the line of scrimmage. And let's run more vertically, north and south. I feel like this interior with Teller, Pochich, and Batonio, that's our 3 best linemen right now. So rely on them more. Probably 60, at least 60%, 70%, I would say. 70% of your runs should be based off these guys and utilizing them. And your scheme's got to be a little more better. This is just a generic run right here. And you get nothing out of it. Bad execution, bad fundamentals. Overall, just bad football. And so guess what? Right after that, now we're in 3rd and long yet again. And a lot of whether it's Joe Flacco of 40 or 2 rookies, either Shedeur Sanders or Dillon Gabriel, we'll see this week. I don't want them in a lot of 3rd and long, which is why a lot of your 1st and 2nd down play calling need to be super efficient and need to be to your strengths and to be, do what you need to do best and running off your interior. Obviously the 1st down play was Joe's fault, not hitting the layup. So again, be more efficient in the 1st and 2nd down. Get more on schedule, because if you get in these situations where now you're 3rd and long, we'll see what these new tackles look like this week. I think they should be a lot better from the 2 tackles we've had out there in the first 4 weeks. I mean, the bar's not very high. So you can see here when you're constantly relying on 2 tackles that are not great, but also your receiver room this year has been very inconsistent. Guys dropping passes, falling out of routes, miscues, unorganized. And you can see that's what happens right here. And so we're on 3rd and long. We've had a bad drive so far. We orbit motion out Dylan Sampson to the outside. and Flacco's going to drop back, and Cedric Tillman's just going to stop right here, and he's just going to throw it all the way out here, and they're going to intercept it. One of the worst interceptions you'll ever see. And it looked like a pooch punt from a high schooler at the high school level. That's what I looked like when I saw it live. That's immediately what I thought of. But you can see here another miscue. And again, these miscues cannot happen. And I don't care who you have at quarterback, whether it's Joe Flacco or Dillon Gabriel. And I'm thinking Joe is expecting Tillman to be in that spot down there. It's more of a timely throw. Because if you look around the lot here, not everybody else is really open. He's getting some pressure coming already. Again, you got 2 bad tackles, so you don't want to be in this position of 3rd and long because the more you got to throw. But here we go. And he tries to lob it out in front, and nobody's there. And overall, I don't like, again, I don't like this play call either. It's just a lot of basic routes. And I just don't feel like we have a whole lot of, the Browns offense just has no identity, honestly. I mean, it's just no identity, and it's just very generic. These route concepts are very generic. We take a look again, and just not a whole lot going on here. I maybe if Tillman would have ran the route, Harold Phantom might have been open down here to pull that safety. That's what I like to see more of, actions like that. Playing more chess and not checkers. But overall, this is just a miss. The main part of this, 80% of this play, 90% of the problem I would see is just the miscue here. And not running the right route, lobbing it out front. But again, we can't put ourselves in situations with the tackles we have, and we have got to get these guys. This is a coaching problem. When you have guys constantly messing up every week with drop passes, certain position group with drop passes, miss routes, and just overall, it's not even just them. It's just bad blocking overall, bad execution all across the board at all the position groups out here. That goes back to your coaches too. Like, what are you guys doing in practices during the week to get these guys fixed and prepare for the next week? Because whatever we're doing for the first 4 weeks is clearly not working, because stuff like this happens constantly. And so, again, unfortunate scenario there. Something that definitely got to get cleaned up. You got to know your routes. I mean, if you're going to play receiver, you need to know where the hell you need to be when the ball snaps, or else this happens. And so, again, if you're going to support your rookie quarterback, you got to be able to protect him as well and have consistency there, which we have not had even for a 40-year-old this year. So, here we go. You're 1st and 10 at midfield. You're in good, you're over the 50-yard line. So you're in good spot here. You're rolling. You're up. You're only down by 3. Beginning of the second quarter, you go down and get some points here. Maybe get obviously you want a touchdown, but if you get a field goal, you tie the game, get some momentum going. But again, the Browns can never put it all together consistently, whether it's catching the ball, blocking, play calling, executing the play at the quarterback position, whatever. We just constantly shoot ourselves in the foot. And you can see here, they motion out Dylan Sampson, and Aiden Hutchinson absolutely just takes Cornelius Lucas to school here. Beautiful bend, leverage, gets right to Joe Flacco for a sack for 6 yards. And again, I get you're at midfield now. You want to try to get something out of this, maybe get a bigger play on 1st down. I don't mind that. But if you're going to have these type of tackle play out there, you can't be you can't put them in pass protection 60% of the time. The Browns have had the most passing attempts, I believe, in the NFL this year. I think Joe Flacco had the most passing attempts so far this season, or he's pretty high up there. That can't happen. That goes on your offense. I put that on the offensive play caller, Stefanski. Your strategy, if you have bad tackle play, I don't want you in the pass protection. I mean, think of that. If we can't block anything, if these guys are just are that bad offensively as tackles, their blocking has not been great, especially in pass protection. They're older. You have an older offensive line, especially. I'm not putting them in pass protection 75% of the time. That just makes no sense. You need to commit to the run a little bit more, but that's something that needs to change immediately, especially the rookie quarterback. But again, you would think with a better tackle here that will change in terms of better protection, but it's still something I wouldn't do. Even if I have a better tackle play, you still don't throw your guy out there like that constantly, because you want to get him in rhythm. You want to get your offensive rhythm, and you want to get your offensive lineman. Nobody ever talks about this. I can say it's a former offensive lineman myself. who won a national championship. How do you get your offensive linemen going? Run game. Let them dominate in the run game. They impose their will in the running game because we're running towards the defense, right? Pass protection, we're backing up and protecting. Rush, we're running the ball. We get to impose our will. And that's how you get guys juiced up and get going on the offensive line. So that's another thing as well. Get your offensive linemen in rhythm. Get their mind going. Get the dominance going up front. Establish the trenches, right? Establish the tone for the game. But again, right here, we can't block the quarterback. We had a good drive going. We're at midfield, but now a loss of 6. And guess what happens now? We're behind schedule, and we're in second and long. One more thing I'd like to point out, too, from a play design standpoint. If you're going to keep David Njoku in there to chip in the block, why not put him on this side? I just don't understand. I get you're trying to hide the motion with Sampson to the other side, but I just – why would you ever leave Aiden Huntington one-on-one with your worst offensive lineman? I mean, what sense does that make? I don't understand what they were thinking there. If you're going to leave David Njoku out there to block, put him over here and have him help out with one of the best pass rushers in the NFL going against your worst offensive lineman. And I don't understand. And KT Livingston absolutely blocks nobody. And so let's take a look again. I mean, he's in a wide 9 as well. He's over here in a 6 technique, 7 technique. So he's in it looks like a 6. So, I mean, again, a 6I. But again, why would you move Njoku over here to help out? I don't understand that. I mean, I just some of that little stuff like that, I don't understand. Why you would ever leave in any scenario Aiden Huntington one-on-one with your worst offensive lineman is 36. Can't happen. Can't happen. And so, again, not only going off of what I just said, not only do we leave Aiden Huntington over there one-on-one with our worst offensive tackle, now we're 2nd and 16, and watch what happens here. I mean, this is unbelievable. Operationally, this can never happen, especially when you're already backed up. You were just 1st and 10 at midfield. You're only down 3. Now you're 2nd and 16, and we can't even get the freaking snap off in time. A delay a game. I mean, this I'm just sorry. When this your play caller, your quarterback have to be in queue, obviously. I would look right at Kevin Stefanski like, Kevin, what the hell is going on? You just left the guy one-on-one on this side and you gave up a sack, and now we're gonna get a delay a game out of that? That is unacceptable. Bad coaching, bad execution. Again, overall bad football. And you're going to put a rookie quarterback out there. Silly stuff like this that's Little League has to get changed immediately because this should never happen. And now, guess what? You're 2nd and 21. You were just up here, and now you're all the way back here. And you're probably looking to punt now. Another waste. What that's called? A wasted possession. And you don't get many opportunities sometimes again, especially if you're going against a great team like the Lions. Every opportunity counts. You got to capitalize. And the Browns, it's just, oh, well, the hell with it. We'll just, let a guy go one-on-one against their worst lineman and, get a delay a game. And I'm sorry, that's bad. I got to look at the coach. It's not good coaching. Bad coaching. It's bad structure. Organizationally, I mean, we know that, but operationally as well with the practice. I mean, what are you doing in practice with guys constantly dropping passes, stuff with delay of games? I mean, operationally and fundamentally, this stuff should not be happening as much as it's happened here so far this season. And that's where you have to look at your coach and say, culturally and just your habits and attention to detail, what the hell are you guys doing? Because you need to reevaluate what you're doing, and the owner should be reevaluating all of this, especially the GM. What the hell is going on? Now this has happened a lot this year with the Browns, where they get penalty. And I got another one later on in this game where they have a good drive going, and guess what? We don't know the snap count, and we get a false start, and it just completely slows down. These are drive killers. When you have stuff like this happen, they are drive killers, and you don't want to put your rookie quarterback in this situation going into this week. So I hope they got it cleaned up this week, and I've really been hammering this stuff down because it's not. It ain't gonna matter if the quarterback changed. It's still gonna be the same results. And so here we go. Now we're 2nd and 21, and let's take a look at the play here. Joe Flacco did not see the field very well in this game to me at all. And a lot of games this year, he just hadn't seen the field well. And let's take a look at the play one more time. I'm watching the route concepts the first time. Let's watch the blocking here. And so right here, I feel like Joe, I think this is where not only confidence is low in your offensive line, but I think I'm just gonna be honest. I think confidence in just his speed, wasn't very high here. Because I'm gonna be honest. Look at Isaiah Bond right here, cutting in the middle of the field. He's open right there. And not only is he open, if Joe's able to just to scale up a little bit and deliver that ball down the field, if he was able to get out there, number one, if he could have got out of the pocket a little quicker, he would have had time to step up and throw that ball down the field and throw a two ball right over the two ball is it's a mid pass. Throw a two ball right down the middle to Isaiah Bond. He would have had him, and Isaiah Bond probably would have had a first down because if he catches that ball right there, we'll take a look one more time and break it in the middle of the field. If he catches that ball right here, I mean, Tillman may be able to come back and get a hat on this guy. Who knows? We can break it a one-on-one. We can get upfield to get up. I mean, who knows? This guy's lightning speed out here. But because we can't execute, and again, I'll get to the line here in a second. I see what you guys see with the line as well. Interior's getting pushed. We're getting too much pressure out inside the middle on the right side. And so let's take a look at that now. Again, got to have better protection. But again, because we, bad play call and execution, in my opinion, on first down. And then we can't, know this, get up to the line of scrimmage and snap the ball. This is why we have to throw. Again, we're in another passing situation where we're depending on this offensive line and pass protection and an old, slow quarterback, either him or a rookie. I think Dillon will be different because of his speed, his mobility, but still, you have to execute these other things well. It ain't going to matter. And so let's take a look at Flacco. Oh, look at the line here. Excuse me. He drops back. And some pressure inside of They hold up pretty well. I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at it from this back view. This is a much better view here. Right there. So let me take a look one more time. I think Flacco, honestly, I don't think Flacco really needed to roll out right. I think the pocket was right here. But he shifts the pocket because he moves. I don't understand why. Looking at this back view here, thank gosh they got two views. Because on the side view, it looked like there was pressure at the middle, which I see. But you just got to be calm. Trust. You got three guys on one guy. They should not be able to. One guy should not break through three guys. If they do, all three guys should be traded if that happened. But the pocket's right here. But he shifts all the way out here and runs right towards Aiden Huntington, which you don't want. Or Hutchinson, excuse me, not Huntington. Aiden Hutchinson, which you don't want. And he misses the throw completely in the middle. If he's able to step in that pocket right here, just step, right, patient, and probably would have stepped up right there, or maybe he stayed right about there where my mouse is. You can see right here where the goalpost is now. He could have delivered that ball right there because Tillman's doing a good job taking his guy out of the way, clearing that out. This backer's on the far hash. So the throw would have been, the window would have been right there. Right there. That ball should have been there. But he looks like a guy who just doesn't have a lot of patience right now because he's slower and he doesn't have trust in his offensive line. And if this was a design play to move him out right, I don't understand that, which I don't think it is. I think he just decided to boot out right. You can look from the side view again. He's just got to step in that pocket and be a little more patient. But again, this is where I think if I'm the coach telling Dillon Gabriel, I'm gonna tell him, hey, just be patient in the pocket. Some of these window throws are there. We just are a little more patient. I don't know if he saw Hutchinson. I keep saying Huntington. I think of our boy Huntington. I don't know if he saw Aiden Hutchinson. Again coming off the edge here. which let me take a look at this one more time. Um, that I don't understand right there. Let's take a look at this from the back view. Let's look at some of this play design here. So you got David Njoku right here, right? He's out on a wide 9, which they should do. You have Dillon Sampson over here. I think Dillon Sampson, I think they thought this guy was going to blitz. He drops back in coverage here. Dillon looked like he was being ready to go chip him, but he didn't have to. And you can see right there. There you go. David Njoku. Again, what did I point out earlier? The perimeter blocking this year. It's been horseshit. To call like it is. It's been absolute horseshit. And David Njoku is blocking nobody but air. He looks like he's trying to be Shaq at the post, throwing bows, or, I just, I mean, oh man, it made me think of that song by Ludacris, "Throw Them Bows." I mean, he's just throwing nothing. If you're gonna chip block or block. Like he oversets like a son of a gun. That's why he gets beat inside like that. This stuff like this should have been a big hitting play to Isaiah Bond. Let's be honest. The quarterback. I feel like if he would have stayed a little more patient. I see a little bit different now when I watch this back now. I get what he sees with Huntington coming around the edge scotch free. Probably thought, well, hell, I ain't gonna have anything anyways. I still like to see a little bit. And here, I still wanted to be a little more patient in that pocket because even if you couldn't hit Isaiah Bond to the play in the middle of the field because we couldn't chip block properly, which we see now, if you couldn't hit that, you still stay in that pocket because the play is kind of busted already, to be honest with you, because we couldn't chip block properly. But if you're not going to do that, still stay in that pocket over here and just hit Dillon Sampson right out here. Just hit the check down. Again, Dillon Sampson's the guy who I think we utilized great in week 1 and haven't really seen a whole lot since. But a lot of these check down routes here, just throws to the flats. He was excellent at getting the yards up the field, getting some yak. I would get the ball there if I can't get it down here because maybe if, let's say he would have stayed in that pocket and Hutchinson kept rushing, well, just dump it down right here. But again, I think with Dillon Gabriel, if I'm telling him be a little more patient, Dillon did a good job in the preseason getting that ball out. If he didn't see anything, he checked off it quick and just got the ball out. So that's one area I think will improve. But again, fundamentally, culturally, when you allow stuff like this, and I expect more from David. I like David. I love David Njoku. Great guy. I think he's a hell of a player. I think he's a damn good teammate too. But David, if you ever watch this, come on, dog. You got to throw a little better block than this. I mean, you got to do better than that, dog. You got to chip that guy. That's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. You got to chip him. You can't put your quarterback in this situation, and it's a busted play. And really just a busted drive overall. And again, that was 2nd and 21. So guess what? Now we're in 3rd and 21 because we can't execute. We can't get the playoff. We can't get the playoff, and we get a delay game out of that. We can't, think the chip block to the right side on the first down play. We could give up a sack, then we get the delay game. We can't chip block still, even when we have a guy over there. I mean, we can't do anything right fundamentally, operationally. We're not playing clean football at all. We're not playing any good football. So now, we're 3rd and 21. And so now, what do you think? 3rd and 20. I mean, you were just right here on the 49-yard line. You're now on the opposite 40. And let's take a look at the play. Drops back. Again, we're throwing the ball again because we have to, because we're constantly behind schedule. Doesn't like what he sees over here. He ends up forcing this ball to Jerry Jeudy. And Jerry makes a hell of a catch. Or did he drop it? No, he dropped it. Yeah, another drop. But I can't blame him on that one. That's a tough-ass catch in a tight window. I mean, he had to scale up pretty high to get that. Let me take a look here. So Flacco looks down the pipe. I feel like I feel like if Joe's a little more patient. Now, you can see it right here. This is the play where Cedric Tillman pulls his hamstring. You can see immediately grabs it. That's a clean. I don't know if he pulled his hamstring or he has a hamstring injury. It looks like a. I'm not a doctor, but generically speaking, when he grabs his hamstring like that, coming out of a break, that's, he's going to be out multiple weeks. So we can guess what that might be. But I feel like if Joe's a little more patient, though, even though he did pull, he had the hamstring here, that might have been one of the. Well, I don't know. I get what Joe sees here. The comeback window, he's going to throw a high ball here, but that's a risky throw to me. Number one, you throw it that high, you can get your receiver sandwiched, which if that backer might have got there a little early, but he throws it out and on the outside, gives him a chance. I get that, but again, it's just not a situation you should be in. The fact we're even in this situation to begin with, this is what happens. You have to settle for stuff like this, where it's a high risk play, and try to force something. You have to get forceful when you're behind the schedule and behind the chains. You start to get forceful, and that's not a team. We're not a team that should be forcing anything. We don't have that kind of personnel right now, especially offensively. So the only thing I could see differently right here, instead of forcing them, maybe just hit Harold Fan in the middle of the field, maybe, and just let him get upfield, get some yards, and play the field position game. Maybe Cedric Tillman right there. I mean, I get you're looking at this backer here. You got two DBs right here. You also got a safety right here. So he's kind of a triangle here. It's a tight window. It's probably not an ideal throw that anybody would say to make, but he is kind of open for a second. There's a split window, but not a very, I don't think that's a play I would want to make consistently or look at all the time. Yeah, it's just, again, you can probably hit him here. Again, he does a nice job putting the ball where it's in play. Maybe Judy still could have caught it, but he thought he should have caught it. He was pissed. So, but again, I forget that play even to begin with, because they shouldn't be in that position. If they would just do a better job executing, guess what? You won't be in third and long like that. Have to settle for plays like that. All right, so here we go now. It's, a couple drives later now, and we're still in the second quarter. 6 minutes to go, 5:59 to be exact. You're still only down 3. You got the ball. You get the ball out of the half as well, so you're in good position here. If you put a drive together here, get some points out of it. And here we go on the first down play. Now, what I like on the first down here is they run the ball, but let's take a look at the play before I give my analysis. It's still just another basic zone run. Now, they get 3 yards out of it, which, okay. But, the creativity and just, trying to help our offensive line and do things a little more differently to help our running back. We're just handing the running back the ball and say, okay, do something in a basic zone running scheme. Just a man-up scheme here, and not a whole lot going on. And they got all game on, they've shown you they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys, 6, 7 guys at least down in the box. You got to get a little more creative, start pulling offensive linemen, pulling more gap scheme, wham blocking guy. Be more creative. Open up that line. Open up the gaps. Help out your offensive line as a coordinator. But no, we just want to do basic zone running scheme, and we only get 3 yards out of it. So now we're 2nd and 7, right? Now we're 2nd and 7, and I will say on 2nd and 7, let's take a look at it. So here we go now, 2nd and 7, the play right after. Let's watch the play first. See 12 personnel, ace. And Quinchon does a phenomenal job this time. So it's kind of, let's watch from the back view here. You can see, remember the play we just watched, right? This is the exact same formation and personnel grouping. Exact same. It's so they make a little tweak here with Fannin. Watch it. Now watch. Remember the last play, Fannin was lined up to the left of Njoku. Now they got him right behind him. And they motion him this time. And so now we have a hat here. We have we have tight on each side, right? And this is a little more creative here. I like this a little better because watch. We brain Harold Fannin on a wham block. And guess what that creates? A cutting lane. It creates a gap. Bam. Nice block there. The gap's wide open. And that's where you have to be better. So what I just bitched about on the last play, what they should have did differently, they did it on the next play, and look at the result. The exact same formation, the exact same personnel grouping. You still have the same guys down in the box with Detroit. They still have 7 guys down the box. I mean, it's the exact same. So what they did wrong, the first down is what they should never do. The second down, which is what I said they should have done on first down, this is what they need to do more often is this type of running scheme. Because look at the result. Everything's the exact same. And look at the difference in the results. One play went for 3 yards. This play went for 8 yards with a hot running back right now who's on fire, who's great at cutting back and has a lot of juice. That's the difference. That's where they need to be better. And ultimately, that goes to the play caller. And so now, here we go. We got a first down. We're 1st and 10, right? We just had a nice run there. All right. We're 4 minutes and 36 seconds left to be exact in the half. We're only down 3. We get the ball out of the half. We're in a good spot here. We could just milk some of this clock maybe and get some points out of us, get the ball at the half. Hey, a tie game or maybe even up by 4 on the road to Detroit. We'll take that any day of the week. But let's take a look at the result here. Again, the Browns constantly, they do 2 things good or 1 thing good, and they do a bunch of things bad after. And again, right here, let's take a look at this play. We do 1 thing good, but we have 0 consistency in everything we do, and that's a problem. We drop back Flacco from under center, and the ball gets picked off. And so let's take a look at this play one more time. From the back view here, let's take a look from this view. So you can see Flacco's not even going to fake the handoff here. He's just going to drop back in a 5-step drop, step up, and throw that thing. Kind of a wobbler, but he throws it out, and you can see the problem was over here. So let's take a look on this side, obviously, with Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy wanted a flag on this play. He didn't get it. Let's see if there was a flag from what we could see. So right there, nothing. Right there, nothing. Got some hands on right there. Right there, maybe. You can see a little to grab. And he stumbles out of his break. And nice job by the DB. Still stick with the ball. Make the play because the refs didn't call it. So you obviously stick to the play. Don't stop till the whistle blows. Watching that play over, I mean, there was a little grab there. A little bit. But if it's not enough, again, I'll be honest, my critique with some of these receivers so far this year, this isn't the first time we've seen this. I've seen Cedric Tillman fall out of breaks. I've shown that on tape. I've seen Jerry Jeudy drop passes and fall sometimes. We've seen a lot of these receivers. They can't block. These perimeter guys, number one, they can't block well. And then the second thing is their job is to get open cleanly and catch the ball. And that's just something that hasn't been done a whole lot. It hasn't been consistent at all, in my opinion. We could put a different quarterback out there, but they get the ball out on time, which Joe does a nice job of throwing that ball out on time. But if we can't get out of our breaks and we can't catch the ball, what the hell does it mean? It don't matter who's throwing the ball because it could be the most perfect pass. And this is the result. We're on the ground falling, or if we do get our hands up, we get out of the break clean, we get our hands up, we drop the ball a lot of times this year. It's just, again, inconsistency all over the field offensively. Their offensive unit is so inconsistent, so sloppy, so fundamentally unsound in a lot of ways. Just everything's just bad. I mean, the play calling at times, like, again, I showed the difference in that with the runs and stuff, some of the way they scheme up some of these plays and not chipping certain guys, leaving Aiden Huntington wide open. I mean, it's just bad. I think it's just bad overall, just philosophy, bad overall, just coaching, bad overall habits. Again, that goes back to your culture. What are you doing on training camp? Why are these problems so consistent with months? It's not just Jerry Jeudy. It's all these guys falling out of routes. Cedric Tillman falling out of routes. Why are all these guys getting, this type? Why are we getting this type of production? This inconsistency from these guys. These guys are supposed to be high-level starters in the NFL, especially Jerry Jeudy. You paid him a ton of money. You paid him like he's number one. You paid him $18 million. Well, maybe not, but you expected him to be a number one. Yeah, a guy like Cedric Tillman, you drafted him in the 3rd round. You got him out there as a starter. You want him to be a little more consistent, right? Be productive. Obviously with him, it's been health. And so You took a guy in Jamari Thrash in the 3rd round. We haven't really seen a whole lot of him this year. But Isaiah Bond has shown some promise, so that's good. But yeah, it's just the inconsistency in this offense isn't. It's just mind-boggling at times. It's just like one thing goes good, and it's just like something else goes bad. And it's like what I mean. I think the Browns are. It's like I ride bikes. If you have one spoke and your tire that's off, it's not gonna be what I mean. It won't move as smoothly as possible, the wheel, when it spins on the when I'm riding my bike. I'll feel a little wobble if there's like 1 or 2 spokes that aren't tight or a little off. And that's I feel like the Browns are. They're just always like 1 or 2 spokes off. And a lot of times it ends up into all the spokes eventually unravel. And before you know it, you're all over the place and you fall off the bike. You know what I mean? If it gets that bad, or the tire's just so messed up and the wheels just jerking in the back, you know what I mean? Just making that. You ever had a tire on a bike, which is the spokes are so loose, the tire's just sitting there wobbling down the road. Before you know it, you could crash, or you can't go as smoothly as you want. That's what I feel like the Browns' offense are. What they are. They're just always a bunch of loose spokes all over the place. And right here, loose spoke, interception, turnover. You had one good play. You're in position to win this game. I mean, to be in this game, prime position. You get the ball under 5 minutes left. You get the ball out of the half. You're only down 3 on the road. You're in prime position, and you give it up. And now, if they go score a touchdown, now you're down by 10 on the road in Detroit against a very good team. Not ideal, not the position you want to be in. One thing I haven't seen a whole lot this year with the Browns and with Flacco is just, remember in 2023, and I heard this from Stump Mitchell, former Browns running back coach, that, he watches his offense now. He said it's not really the same that they ran 2 years ago when Flacco was here and had success. They pushed the ball downfield a lot more back then and 2 years ago. And, this is a guy that was on the staff. I could tell by watching it. He knows the plays, knows everything that was going on. We haven't seen them take a lot of shots down the field so far this season. Really test the defense, try to keep a defense off balance. Been a lot of these shorter routes and just basic runs, and that's why we constantly find ourselves in these positions. So here we are. Again, we're 2nd and 8. The last play, just another run up the middle for Junkins, a more basic run. So now we're 2nd and 8. But what do we finally do, though? We do take a shot here, and it pays off for us. You have a guy in Isaiah Bond with a lot of speed. Again, I like this play call here. You got one safety over the top. You got man coverage here. So, why not try to take a shot here and get something going better than what you have been doing. And you can see here, Isaiah Bond gets a nice release out of his break. Gets a little separation. Nice ball by Flacco. Make a catchable. And great catch by Isaiah Bond. And that's a big hitter play there. That's probably the biggest play I've seen from them all year for 35 yards downfield. Again, Flacco throws it out. And this is something Dillon Gabriel did a lot at Oregon. Watch him at Oregon, obviously, as an Ohio State fan. He took some shots down the field, had a lot of speed guys like Tez Johnson and things like that. He likes to air it out if it's at the opportunities there. So I think this is something I like to see the Browns do more of. You know what I mean? You got a one high safety on the far hash. You got Isaiah Bond opposite man. Take the shot. I mean, that's going to be there. Honestly, all he has to do is just get a good release and get open. And, obviously hold up protection for 3 Mississippis. And we're good there, maybe even 2 Mississippis. If it's a quick play, throw it out in front. 3 seconds, just hold. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, gets it out. There you go. And bam. And that's something I want to see more. More of those calculated shots. If you run the ball more effectively, guess what? If we're able to get that running game going, like I said last week, and more of the gap scheme and more creativity, if you get that run game going, you're going to see a lot of this, a loaded box, even on 2nd down, maybe even 1st down. And it creates more of these one-on-one opportunities on the outside of these shots because you're going to have one safety over top. If I got Jerry Jeudy, if I can get Jerry Jeudy back to the guy I saw at the end of last season, and with an Isaiah Bond now, and then I got a Harold Fannin I can put out in the slot now, a bigger body tight end who can go one-on-one with guys, I could do some things with that. You know what I mean? I got Junkins in the backfield or Sampson coming out of check down, who's really good with some yak we saw week 1. Get him back to that. I still got Njoku out there who I can run on a route too on a check down and maybe get some yak out of that. I mean, you have some guys you can utilize if you put them in the right spots and calculate it as be more strategic as an offensive coordinator, as a play caller and head coach and Kevin Stefanski. you can create more of these shots. And I'm glad to see right here that we took the shot and it paid off. Again, watch it one more time. Great play. That safety has no chance. He's already on the far hash. Get the ball out in front. Bam. And so, again, what did I just say about the Browns? They're a bunch of loose spokes, right? You get a big play down the field. You're down 10, right? But hey, you get a touchdown here. You're only down 3 going to the fourth quarter, and guess what happens? We get a false start. We're 1st and 10 on the 32-yard line. Right, we're in field goal range. Right, 35 in. We're in field goal range now, and a loose spoke. We get a false start. Now we're backed up 5 yards. That is a drive killer. It is a drive killer. It kills momentum. And that's, again, the Browns have a bunch of loose spokes from the sideline and under the field. We can never do anything consistently right. And this is a disciplinary issue right here. Not knowing, again, the delay a game earlier, false start. I mean, I get you're antsy. You got to hold your water. But you got to know what's going. You got to know the snap count. You cannot. And he's a rookie. I give him some grace, but again, as a coach, when this stuff can't. This stuff's happened a lot. We saw the false start earlier, the delay game. This stuff can't happen as consistently as it happened. We've been the most penalized team in the NFL for a while now under Stefanski, and that reflects him. That's a discipline issue. That's a correct. That's a cultural issue. You're the most penalized team year in and year out. You're one of the worst in the NFL. You cannot, because guess what happens? It kills drive. It kills momentum. It shoots you in the foot. You shoot your own self in the foot, and that's self-inflicted. And it starts. We could look at one play and say, "Hey, it's one play," but when it happens, it's consistently. It's happened here in this organization on the field for years under this coach. That's where I got to look at I got to question the coach. Because any other city, any other situation, they'd be saying the same thing. For some reason in Cleveland, we have a lot of apologists that want to go around and get this guy an excuse and get this front and all these people an excuse. Maybe because they use analytics, what you identify with them. Is that what it is? I mean, again, I don't care about your analytics. I care about playing good football. Analytics is a tool. All right. This stuff right here, this is stuff where football people, Kevin's supposed to be a football coach. This is where you have to correct these things. It kills your drives. The delay of game, the false starts, falling out of our breaks, not catching passes, not identifying where I mean, not getting a hat on one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, get up a sack for 5 yards. I mean, not playing to our personnel, just basic zone running scheme, not getting creative and helping out our line. I mean, these are things that have to change no matter who's a quarterback, and especially have a rookie back there this week, which we will in Dillon Gabriel. This is where we need to help him out and make things a little easier for him. And it starts with the coach on the sideline and then the surrounding pieces around him. So now we're 1st and 15 right after that penalty. And you can see here, they got 2 safeties over the top now, but they're going to try to take a shot again to Isaiah Bond. And again, it's only 1st and 15. In my opinion, if I'm the coach here, I'm thinking, let's not try to get out of field goal range here, right? Let's try to maybe get some yards back on 2nd down, maybe take a shot or drop a bigger play on 2nd down and get us into more 3rd and management, maybe convert the 2nd down. But we come out on 1st down, and we just decide to air it out down the field, and almost gets picked. Take a look at it one more time. I get sometimes as the coordinators, you want to see maybe catch defenses lagging when they're not expecting it. And if I'm Flacco, I'd like to see that ball get the fan it, honestly. Let's see here. He's got a clean pocket. I'm not sure why he rushed it. And I get he's trying to get a quick play out on the outside. He probably saw that safety take up with Fannin and think maybe I got one-on-one on the outside again, which that's what happened. But, if I'm Flacco, right about here, He ain't open. He's not. He's looking for the ball, but he's not open. There's no separation. He's still behind the corner. I got to be a little more patient again. And this is where if I'm telling Dillon Gabriel, hey Dillon, don't force anything. And this is where Dillon did good in the preseason. He didn't force shit down the field. And that's where I think Dillon can be better to Joe. At this stage of his career, he's just kind of winging it a little bit because of his age and just this is a forceful throw down the field. That's what it is. So this is another wasted play. Now we're 2nd and 15. We're really behind schedule. If I'm Dillon Gabriel, if I'm the coach, I would say here you got a clean pocket here. Be patient. And I think you got something right there with Fannin. Maybe you could hit the ball inside there. He can create a little more separation. I don't mind that. Again, he's one-on-one there with the safety. So you throw that ball where it's a good spot. He may be to, body the guy and get a good catch. I like to see that more out there to Fannin. Give him a shot. Give him an opportunity to make a play on that ball against the safety. But, we forced the ball down the field in a clean pocket. Not sure if I like the play call, honestly, on 1st 15. It's kind of it's a low. I mean, I get that it's a high reward if you hit it, but it's a low probability you actually make this play on 1st 15. It's not a play call I'd actually would make on 1st 15 a whole lot. I get what you're trying to do, catch them off guard, but you got to think about where you're at in the game. You're only down 10 in the 3rd. You're in plus territory, so why not try to stay in field goal range? Because then if you get the field goal, you get what if we call it a great screen pass here to Dylan Sampson, catch him with a screen, right? And you get 6-7 yards out of that. They make kind of like making up for the run in a way. Now you're much more manageable 2nd down, obviously, and you're still in field goal range, so you're in a good spot. Again, you at least get the 3 points. You're still one possession game. It's just understanding the game at times. I feel like we don't do that well. And then we come out on the next play. So now we're 2nd and 15 after we airmailed that out to the sideline. And let's take a look here. And we're just going to hand the ball off in the middle. Like that's fooling anybody. Just a basic hand. I mean, this is a high school play. On 2nd and 15. This is what we're calling. And it's not even a good draw either. You leave Campbell, the linebacker, free, unblocked. So of course he's going to identify this immediately. He's scotch free. He sees you handing off the Statue of Liberty handoff, and that's easy money. Nothing Jerome Ford could do. It's blown up. I hear people say all the time, well, the running back could have did something. Could have did something differently. No, he couldn't have. What can Jerome Ford do here? He makes the right read. The guy's coming this way. The only play you have is up the alley here, but he's a hell of a linebacker as well. It's just a shitty play call overall. It's a shit play call. It's a shit play call on 1st down. Low probability. It's a shit play call here. Sorry for the language, but it is what it is. Again, and guess what? Loss of 1 yard. So now you're 2nd and 16 because you're undisciplined as a team. You get a false start after a big play. And you call it terrible. You get a play out like that on 1st down, where you airmail it out of bounds. It's a not a very smart play call in this part of the game in that position. And then you come out and you call an even weirder play, just the most basic run ever. Hey, let's call a draw on 2nd and 15, where they've been loading the box the whole game. Again, they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 guys in the box, and you got a great linebacker here in Jack Campbell, who reads this all the way. Stops, looks, he sees Flacco going, Statue of Liberty handoff. I mean, this is generic as it gets. So now, guess what? We're what are we now? We are 2nd and 16 now. So let's go back to what they do now. And you talk about an offense that has no identity. Again, they see Isaiah Bond right here in the slot, right? Now they put him in the slot. And we just throw an out route to Isaiah Bond. Like, that's going to get you back in field goal range. Because now, again, that's the other thing. Look where you are. You are, I'm not sure why this is playing slow, but now you're on the what? The 30, what are we on? 38-yard line? So you're just passed out of your field goal range? And now you're in this spot? Terrible sequence, terrible play calling, just bad overall football execution. And again, we could put whoever at quarterback, but if this stuff that's going on in this drive is going to happen, it ain't going to matter. It's just going to be wasted possessions after wasted possession. I feel like every possession it's just been a wasted possession. They had 4 opportunities I showed in this game where they could have been in the game and competed, and maybe one. Who knows what could happen? And they just wait. They just give it away constantly. They shoot themselves in the foot. They give it away. We're gonna call an out route. I mean, look at the route concepts on 3rd and long. I mean, this is so generic. Shout out to Garrett Bush for calling this stuff out. Somebody keeps it real. Actually, played the game. I mean, this is terrible. And again, what happens when you're 3rd and long? We're going to leave this offensive line, as old as it is, inconsistent as it's been, against their pass rushers who are, what were they sending, 6, 5, 6? We can't hang with that. Not with the line we got this year. We can't put ourselves in this position. And we put ourselves in this position from a play calling perspective, philosophical standpoint, and just bad execution overall. This all just reflects bad culture, bad coaching, and bad culture. That's exactly what this reflects. And guess what happens after that? Now we got to put Schmidt out there and ask him to kick. Hey, go out there, kick a 56-yard field goal in Detroit, bud. I know you're standing on the logo. 56 yards, that's pretty long. And watch from the end zone here. And it's in slow-mo. He's going to line it up. Again, we need these 3 points, but we made it as hard as possible to put. We made this as difficult as possible for our kicker because of where we placed him on the field. And he misses it wide. Misses it to the left. I don't blame that play on him or any. I mean, I look straight at the coach. Hey, man, why do we constantly find ourselves in these situations? Wasted possessions, no points or turnovers. We make things as hard as possible on us because we have no identity. We have no real strategy. We have everything's a probability in Perea. And this is the problem when you play with probabilities. And when you abandon the run because you don't run, if we don't run for more than 6 yards, like Stump Mitchell said, we just abandon the run. This is what happens. This is what you get. And this is why you're 1-3. And this is why you've lost 20 of the last 24 games that you fired your whole staff to go along with this whole analytic crap and this whole new offense, air raid offense that you've had to install. This is what you get. You lose 20 and 24 games, and you always fall up just short. And that's that. And so, again, that's all I got for you guys today. Again, I broke down all the areas they still need to improve. Again, I'm excited to watch Dillon Gabriel play this week, but there's still a lot of things they need to get better from an offensive standpoint if they want to have any success with Dillon Gabriel. They need to support him, and it starts with the sideline to on the field. And it starts in practice this week and their habits, and they need to change a lot of things. So I'm excited to watch it like you guys are. Stay tuned. Stay tuned to Professional Fan. He'll be on this week as well. May already be out. By the time I put this out, he may have already went live last night or a few nights before. So go check that out with Mike. And yeah, stay tuned for us on Sunday. We'll react to the game. So yeah, love all you guys. Like, subscribe, share all that good stuff. And I will see you in the next one. I'm out of here. Gone.